Your Chicago Blackhawks lose 5-3 to the Detroit Red Wings in one of the next worst performance of the year. Let's talk about it next on the CHGO Blackhawks Postgame Show. Welcome into the CHGO Blackhawks postgame podcast on this snowy Friday evening. At least we're going to be out of here early.
That's cool. We'll run into that Bulls traffic.
Thanks for being here, everybody. We appreciate it. Please do us a favor. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the YouTube page. If you're listening on the podcast, please like, subscribe, all that stuff. Rate, review. I'm going to tell you about I want to get the technical crap out of the way first because I'm not responsible for things I say tonight because I'm done. It's been a long week personally.
Yeah.
And I'm just, okay. 3 stars of the game: Lucas Raymond, Teuvo Teravainen, 2 goals, Patrick Kane, 3 assists, just to add a kick in the nuts.
Yeah, sure.
To a massive 60-minute kick in the nuts. Here are your nominees for the 4-star of the game. Feel free to not vote.
No, vote, please.
Yeah, vote, I guess. Pat Maroon. No, we took him off. Colton Dock got his second NHL point.
Did we take him off?
We did take him off.
Oh, okay.
Nolan Allen.
Whatever.
Nice assist on the Teuvo goal.
Yeah, he was pretty active today.
And Ryan Donato.
He scored.
Had 7 of the Blackhawks' 15 shots on goal.
What a selfish prick.
How dare
you know what? Shoot the puck.
That's going to be that's what's going to happen. That's what's going to happen post game is all the Hawks aside from Ryan Donato are going to say if he wasn't so selfish, we would have been better.
Wow.
You should have been like Teuvo in the first period who had a
horrible teammate.
Basically a breakaway and decided to pass through 3 Red Wings.
Yeah.
Or Taylor Hall who just had to feed a streaking Nolan Allen, former MVP. Nolan Allen. Yeah, let's get the puck to Nolan Allen instead. This was horrible. This was about as insulting as of a game that I can remember. And look, this season's been full of bad games.
And there have been some insulting performances this week.
The second period of this game, for those who go to the Church of Metrics, we talk a lot about Corsi. And if you don't know what Corsi is, it is the percentage of shot attempts for and against.
It's a metric of Corsi is trying to shoot the puck towards the net.
Correct. So, yes.
Whether it gets there or not.
The Blackhawks, second period Corsi, was 5.88%. They were outshot attempted 32-2. In 20 minutes of NHL play, they advanced 2 damn pucks towards the Red Wings net. 2! It's the freaking Detroit Red Wings. They're not a playoff team. They're underachieving. They fired their coach this year. They have underachieved for half a decade. And that's what happens? That's your performance after beating Colorado. You show up with this after 3 days after Nick Foligno's like, we got to find, for the 16th time this season, we got to find identity and play on our toes and be hard checking and we got to play this way and we got to give a brand of Blackhawks hockey people are proud of. Stop talking. I'm tired of hearing about it. This is your identity. You're soft, you're mentally weak, and you suck. Thank you. That is your 2024-25 Blackhawks. That's it. What more do we need to talk about?
No,
I'm tired of it.
It is, the fact that, we have to keep going over this again and again and again and again, and all the things are said of what they need to do, what they need to change, how they need to fix the things, and the going out and doing it is just it's almost non-existent. And we've talked about it this week about the games that tease you of the efforts that they can put in. The the last game, the win over Colorado, was a tease of the effort that they can put in. The win over Montreal was some of the effort that they can put in, and they just there's no ability to string it together for more than a game or maybe 2 games if we're lucky.
Yeah, those are the flukes.
And
the flukes are the good performances.
Yeah, and it's a flash of like, oh, maybe there is something in there, but for the majority of this season, this is who this group is. And you got a Red Wings team that is really riding the new coach bump. 6 straight wins in 7 games under Todd McClellan. And they've got some life in that team. And that's a team that's pushing to get back into the playoff picture. And they obviously, there was a lot for that group to play for tonight, because Patrick Kane, he gets up for these games against the Blackhawks.
Yes, he does.
It's now 5 points in 3 games against the Hawks since he's been in Detroit, and Detroit, and Alex DeBrincat he's a guy that probably gets up for a game like that. Just the former Hawks on the Red Wings is bountiful, and so and it's still considered a rivalry. So I'm sure Detroit gets up for it, and they have an opportunity to, beat on the Blackhawks, a team that's at the bottom of the league. They got up for it. The Blackhawks were not up for this game, and they looked like they were the team on night 2 of back-to-backs, but it's only night 1 of back-to-backs for the Blackhawks, because now they're going to hop on a plane, fly over Lake Michigan, come home,
turn that son of a bitch sideways,
sleep in their own beds, wake up and play Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl on the Edmonton Oilers tomorrow.
Should be great.
I can't wait. It's going to be fun. It's going to be another wonderful night at the UC. Saturday night at the UC. Hell yeah. Let's go.
Yeah. Get your tickets now at game time.
There's really nothing that you can sell about this team that gives you any confidence that they can pull themselves out of any of this. This was game 42. We're now in the second half of this season, and we said it as we were getting ready to start the show. It's just it's a slow starting team. They'll figure it out. No, your time to figure it out was in November.
Yep,
because we've been seeing this from this season or from this team since the beginning of the year, and little to nothing has changed.
The thing for me is, you beat Colorado, and yeah, it's a goalie win. Thank you.
It's fine.
Right? Fine. But, aren't you then excited to get back on the ice? Aren't you then excited to go get another chance to have another good performance? And you come out, and the first period was fine. It was fine. They weren't getting their asses kicked. But then what happened? Whose dog died in the second period? What happened?
I don't know.
How does that happen to an NHL team? Why is it in Chicago that the Chicago sports team's losses are especially humiliating and especially weird, and just they don't there's a lot of bad teams in hockey and in the NFL, but why is it always an extra level of stupid and embarrassing for the Bears and the Hawks?
I don't know.
32-2? You only attempted 2 shots in a period?
Well, that's what happens when you're playing defense for 19 minutes and 30 seconds.
But how do you not just accidentally fall down and put a puck towards it?
It's a good question.
I don't understand this, and I don't want to hear from anyone after the show. I don't care, because all it's going to be is lip service again. Yeah, we got to be better. We got to respond. We got to be harder to play against, harder to forecheck, over and over. And shut up and do it.
Yeah.
Shut up and actually do it.
Either do it or don't.
And, Nick Foligno, by the way, not personal. I like him as a dude, of course.
Yeah.
But, the first guy to talk and the first guy to call everybody out, and until he blocked that shot with the empty net and tried to block the second shot on the empty net, credit to him for that, he was invisible aside from his turnovers. A non-factor in this game.
Yeah.
Earlier with the empty net, in the offensive zone, he loses a board battle and Detroit's off the other way. The second they pulled Mrazek with what was it, three and change left to go.
Almost 4 minutes.
Detroit wins the faceoff, and Darren Pang's like, get on it. Like, immediately, Darren Pang's like, what are you doing? Like, the second the puck was dropped, he saw the group of Hawks on the ice were not playing as if their net was empty. There's just no urgency. There's no, I don't know, like.
The urgency, the effort, with it being this consistent, you start to question like the dedication from this team for each other. Like are you guys in it for this group, or are you in it for what your next destination is for some of these veterans that are on, expiring deals? I don't know. But I think you have to, these guys have to look around and say, like, what are we going to play for? Are we going to play for each other? Are we going to play for ourselves? I would take guys being selfish on this team at this point.
Right.
Like,
Tavo would have had a hat trick if he did that.
Sure. Yeah. Like I that's where I feel like I'm at with this group, is like, you have to figure out what you're going to play for. And it's not finding an identity because you have one. It's overcoming your identity. Now you have an identity. You have to change
you're
it.
Bad.
You have to change it. It's not finding it. It's changing it.
Yeah, and you said it. There's still half the season to go. Tony Granato says at postgame, great.
Yeah,
great.
This
more of the Blackhawks shuffle. Loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, loss. And it's gonna be, and those wins will be like, woo. That was against a pretty good team.
Yeah.
Maybe they turn a corner.
They're going to win tomorrow 5-2.
And then they get their balls stomped the next game. That's how it's gone all year. Just over it. Just into mashed potatoes at this point.
They are that gif of the monk just punching himself in.
Right. It's like, I don't know. I don't know what else to do aside from laugh about it. It's just,
if you don't laugh, you'll cry.
You really can't. You really can't make odds or ends of this. And not to be a shameless self-promoter, but for Blackhawks Beat Today, I actually wrote it on Wednesday. It publishes every Friday, but after Nick Foligno said what he said about identity, I wanted to dig into that a little bit.
Yeah.
And basically the conclusion I drew was what you're saying is there are so many guys that are here short-term that, be it conscious or subconscious, they're not playing as if they are committed to this team. So I went back and listen to what Nick Foligno had to say after he signed his 2-year extension last January.
Oh, that was a long press conference.
And within the first minute or so of it, Foligno said, I'm really grateful for the Wirtz family to show me, I'm paraphrasing, to show this commitment to me. And now I'm really ready to put roots down and dig in here and settle in here. So even a guy who, for the most part, and I know I'm ragging on him tonight, and I'm making fun of him for being the guy that always talks, but he just makes himself available. It mattered to him, and he acknowledged that with the new contract would come a new level of commitment from himself. Mm-hmm. Right or wrong, I get it. I'm trying to find the quote. I want to read the quote directly. So
I mean, he's the guy that is talking a lot with that messaging. So he becomes the target of everything like that. But there's only so much he can do on the ice at this point in his career. So I think the commitment to a guy like Nick Foligno for this locker room, I'm for it. It's just unfortunate that he's now having to be basically the talking head of a point that has gone stale for a team that is wildly underperforming what it should have been.
A lot of the veterans too last year that were happy to talk have been peace out of that locker room this year. Jason Dickinson's one of them. He had an awful turnover in this game on the penalty kill, trying to make something out of nothing. And Alex Weiss is like, Jesus, what are you doing? And can't get back to the puck, and Detroit scores. Here's a quote, by the way, from Foligno. This is January 13th, 2024. It's thrilling for my family and I. We're really appreciative to the Wirtz family and Kyle and their commitment to in what I bring and what we're trying to do here. Now I really get to put some roots down and dig in here and put that investment into it.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, yeah. You invested in him. You invested in his presence, what he can do for this group, what he should be able to do for this group. As a role model for the young groups, the young players coming up. But it just doesn't feel like it's the leadership group and the veterans are the right collective group to get the NHL team going. And I think, I think as these young guys come in and they look around the room, I think there's messaging that they can hear. There's lessons that they can learn. There's guys that have won a lot of cups that are in that room, Pat Maroon and Alec Martinez for the time being. But I wonder if these young guys start to look around at each other and say, hey, we might need to fast track our lessons in the NHL and start pulling this team together ourselves.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Look, there's no veterans on this team that need to be deferred to. Like, I got to make sure that Taylor Hall gets his. No. I'm sorry. There's no one. There's no one deserving of that. All right, we got to hit the break zone. We're going to get to your super chats when we come back on CHGO Blackhawks. And did the Blackhawks get their balls stomped all over your brand new floors?
Stop.
And now you need new floors? Well, you're in luck, friend. You can hit up our friends at Empire today.
Yes.
They've got an amazing selection, obviously incredible customer service. They're going to get you the floors you need, not the cheapest floors. You want stuff that if balls do get stomped on there, easily cleanable, right? You don't want it to stain. They're going to have nice floors that are easy to clean up because you're only getting the best from our friends at Empire. And if you're not sure which floors are going to look perfect in your place, well, first of all, they're going to do a free in-home assessment. They're going to come in there, show you some samples. And if you're still not sold, use that virtual floor viewer, take a picture of your space, and then just swipe through it. Oh, yeah, this floor, maybe this one, not so much this one.
You can see the ones that have the specific ball laminate.
Exactly. You want to be confident in your new floors because even with the great prices of Empire, it is a major investment. So all listeners of this show and all CHGO shows can receive a $350 discount when they use promo code CHGO. Schedule a free in-home estimate today. Restrictions apply. See empiretoday.com/CHGO for details.
And if you're looking for other things to do in Chicago besides go to a Blackhawks game, check out our friends at Game Time because they have so many great deals on tickets to all kinds of events. Anything that you want to go and see, Game Time can help get you there. They have a new feature called Game Time Picks, which makes getting tickets for events like sporting events, theater shows, comedy shows, concerts, anything like that. Makes it even easier because Game Time Picks filters out the fluff to show you only incredible deals on great seats so you don't have to waste time searching through thousands of tickets to find the best value. You have the all-in pricing feature as well with Game Time, which is allows you to show the total up front so that when you get to checkout, there's no surprise fees, there's no dumb convenience fees or anything like that jacks up the prices when you thought you were getting a really good deal and then turns out there's all these dumb fees at the end. No, you get to know about all the money that you're going to spend is what you're going to spend on those tickets up front. And Game Time has their lowest price guarantee, which means if you find the same ticket that you're seeing at Game Time on a different site and you bring it to Game Time, they will credit you 110% of the difference. That's how much they care about you getting the best deal through Game Time. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, use the code CHGO, and you're going to get $20 off of your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account, redeem the code CHGO for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest prices guaranteed.
Oh boy. All right, let's get these super chats. The very short Anders Sorensen quotes are rolling in. Chris with $1 says from Chris Strombaugh. Thank you, Chris.
Thanks, Chris. Is there any other?
Yeah, there's probably something.
Is there any other quote or comment from Chris Strombaugh? Yeah. Says, I'm new to hockey. On the Cop goal, can you explain why 2 Red Wings were basically all alone? Well, Chris.
Cop goal. Let's see. Which one was that?
That was the one where Philip Kurashev landed himself on waivers.
Oh, yes. Dead controller mode.
Yeah. Yeah, so that is Eric Gustafsson, former Hawk, basically off of a turnover at the Blackhawks defensive blue line. I think it was Patrick Kane corralled the puck originally. He finds Eric Gustafsson streaking in with speed, dangles around Philip Kurashev, and then
I could have dangled around that
gets an opportunity near Mrazek, which I think he stops the initial one, and then Andrew Kopp finds his way also past Philip Kurashev to get the rebound through Mrazek. So it's again, it's poor execution defensively. It's poor puck control by the team, poor execution defensively by Kurashev, and then it's the thing that Anders Sorensen was talking about specifically with Kurashev and Reichel about how to get into the lineup and stay in the lineup. It's the effort, not just the first, but the second and third opportunities on plays to show effort that they need to continue doing across the board too. It's not just those 2 specifically. It's the team across the board is poor with doing that. But those guys specifically, Sorensen was talking about, and that's a play where you're just like,
I wish we could show highlights. I'm watching it again, and it's on a loop, and I'm getting angrier and angrier.
It's rough.
If you go,
you could see the play on NHL.com. You could find
Eric Gustafsson walks past Kurashev, and Kurashev just stands there, hands it aside like, "Oh, I just got burned. I'm gonna watch them score. This should be sweet."
Yeah, it's bad.
And then it goes by, and he's like, "Oh, I guess I should flick my stick towards Andrew Kopp." It's embarrassing.
And is Kurashev supposed to guard 2 guys on one play? No. But it's that area of the ice that he finds himself in.
I know, move your feet is a hockey cliche. Like, skate harder, move, literally.
Once he's burned by Kurashev, he stands still.
Literally move your feet.
It's poor.
The minimal effort. He should not see another game this season. I'm done. Bye. You want to send a message? That's your message. Waivers, Rockford. Thanks for playing. All right, next super chat.
Ilya Trekevsky. Ilya Trekevsky? Yeah, we'll go with that. That's
$5
close, I think.
Says, I forgot to write a text in the super chat. Hi from Australia.
Hello.
Ilya.
How is tomorrow? Is tomorrow's game better? Did they win?
David Bird, just as a Red Wings fan who spent $20 to say, "Go Red Wings, Chicago Blackhawks sucks. They're so bad. They deserve to be the worst original 6-team period in history. Thank you for paying $20 to show us you have no understanding of grammar or spelling." David Bird.
You could have
Give
spent
us another 20.
Yeah. Spent that 20 on Mavis Beacon.
Yes, and enjoy another 10 seasons of mid in Detroit. Eris Mix 23, $5, says, "Can't wait to see them stomp the Oilers tomorrow and hold McDavid and Draisaitl pointless."
It would be completely characteristic of this team to go out and get in a track meet with the Oilers and win somehow.
And another $2 from Chris says, "Do they play a mix of zone and man-to-man?" Mostly zone.
Mostly zone.
Strength.
Yeah, mostly zone.
Sometimes on the PK they'll be a little more man-to-man, but mostly zone. Man-to-man was a big Jeremy Colleton thing.
Yeah.
Like, hey, you slow man. Hey, you chase fast man.
Hey, Brent Seabrook, you're going to cover Connor McDavid. Have fun. Yeah, no. That's man-to-man, like, you have to have guys like Cale Makar and Quinn Hughes to do that, and even those teams mostly don't do that.
We do have a quote from Anders Sorensen, the longest one, I believe, of the presser.
Is it 4 words?
He was asked about the Kurashev play we're talking about. Expect better. Ben threw "we" in there in brackets to imply that word was meant to be there. But I think the actual quote was "expect better." I don't expect better.
Isn't that a car brand dealership?
Maybe he just has some kind of endorsement we don't know about.
Yeah, I mean you expect better out of an NHL player. In that situation, it's just rough, and yeah, I mean you come off of that second period. I don't know what you say after that second period, other than you guys stink, getting outchanced 32-2, outshot 19-2, with actual pucks that hit the net. So hey, their 2 shots hit the net. So give them 100%
on net
percentage in the second period. So joke's on us. But yeah, I mean, then you come out in the third period and the jump wasn't there. Red Wings get out to a 3-1 and then a 4-1 lead. And look, credit to the guys for finding some semblance of a push at the end of the game, but it was hollow. There was no chance, no expectations of, oh well, maybe they'll pull themselves out of this. Like, no, it was hollow. Good for Teuvo to get 2 goals in the game, and a good setup on the first one from Nolan Allen. Again, he earned some 4th star love from us tonight. He had a decent game. Was a little bit more active offensively, so that's good to see. I think that's where we're at with this team. Like, specifically individual performances and specifically the young guys. That's really all that matters.
Is that what the next 40 games are going to be too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, what else do you sell to this team?
That's it.
What else do you sell from this team to Blackhawks fans to say, hey, keep tuning into us if you can watch the games. Keep tuning in. And
don't worry, you are getting audio on your video antenna.
This is who you're tuning in to see. You're tuning in to see Colton Dock's development, Frank Nazar's development, Bedard, obviously. You get to continue to see how Nolan Allen progresses, how Alex Vlasic is doing. He had a particularly bad game today, but that is the focus now. And for a team that was the 3rd oldest in the league to begin the year and well into basically November, basically until Frank Nazar came up, it was like, oh, here's Nazar and here's Doc. Wyatt Kaiser's back. Like, they got young again real fast. But that's the focus of this team. Again, it is the young players.
I'm really tired of looking ahead to the draft in January and looking forward to when more useless veterans get moved out so they can call up someone young and exciting. Right now, it's wait until Landon Slacker gets here. Wait until we get to see Oliver Moore and those guys when their college seasons are over, just for a glimpse of what might be in the future. That was not supposed to happen this year. And the guys you brought in were supposed to protect you against that. And look, like,
it was at least supposed to push it back to like February, March.
Yeah. And now, you see what we talked to our buddy Petey right before Luke Richardson was fired and said, hey, if you were the Hawks, what would you do? Hire Tom McClellan. It's worked well for Detroit.
Apples to oranges.
Well, maybe, but I don't know.
Red apples to green apples.
Do something. I don't know. I don't know. I'm at a loss for answers. And you mentioned Vlasic having a bad game. Our buddy Sam Fells on Blue Sky said it's probably a symbol of Vlasic's growth and importance that whenever he has a bad game, the Hawks are assuredly going to get trucked.
Yeah.
That's it. Like, if he's not great, the Hawks have no shot.
Yeah, because as much as Nolan Allen has been decent this season, he's a rookie. As much as Wyatt Kaiser has good performances, he also has some subpar ones. But he's a guy that is, a 3rd pair guy that is playing up in the lineup. TJ Brody, Louis Crevier is again. It's a guy that is kind of playing above what he is. Could he be a 3rd liner in the NHL or a 3rd pair guy in the NHL consistently? Maybe.
On a good team, no.
On a good team, no. And you have Seth Jones, who on a good team is a 2nd pair guy that's playing above what he actually is. So if you have Alex Vlasic, who I think right now, if you said what is he across the board in the NHL, he's a low end 2nd pair guy right now. But what could he be? He could be a top end 2nd pair guy, maybe a low end 1st pair guy when he's fully realized. And I think he's still on that path. But if he has a really bad game, you don't have anyone else that's going to pick up the slack. And Seth Jones, he's since coming back from injury, he's had 1 good performance in 8 games. Yeah. So I mean, you can't rely on him at this point. So yeah, defensively, if Alex Vlasic is getting shelled, most likely you're going to have a bad time.
And it's, you mentioned it, like maybe it's time for the kids to step up and take some leadership. And I don't know how it's easy to say that out loud. It's hard for that to actually put that in a process. But
yeah,
I don't know. I think they're the ones every night that are not letting me down.
Yeah. I mean, hockey stat cards are friends with the blue, purple, green, and whatever colors they got. darker green, forest green, teal, purple, blue, whatever.
Yeah, sure.
The top performers tonight based off of game score for the Blackhawks. Number 1 was obviously Teuvo Teravainen on the 2 goals. The next 3 guys, 2, 3, and 4, was Colton Dach, Frank Nazar, Nolan Allen.
Yep.
Wyatt Kaiser was in the top half of the group. So I mean, it's the young guys that are the ones that you're going to want to focus on, the ones that you're going to want to see the good performances out of. Results aside, like that's really what you have to hold on to for this team. And I think Landon Slaggert is probably next in line to get up from Rockford. Samuel Savoie, I think, deserves at least a handful of games of a look. I wouldn't mind seeing Ethan Del Mastro where he's at in year 2 of his career.
I don't care. Everyone gone. If you're over 25, go. Leave. Bertuzzi can stay. And Teuvo can stay. Fine.
Mm-hmm.
There's your veteran scoring depth to give Connor Bedard some actual NHL talent to play with.
Mm-hmm.
Hall, gone. Actually, I want Donato. I want to talk about a little bit because I want Donato to stay. That's for a different day.
If he's
I wrote about that for Blackhawks Beat like a month ago.
If he's extended, I'm not going to be upset.
Oh yeah, we got to hit the brakes.
Depending on what it all looks like.
Hey, do us a favor.
Sorry about that.
I know you're aggravated, but just know that every time you hit the like button, a Blackhawk feels an electric shock. And it's the one you like the least. The one you're most upset with.
It could be little static shock?
Yeah, like
oh my God. I had one last night. My wife got me some new house slippers for my birthday. They're very comfortable.
Happy birthday.
But I wore socks inside the slippers, so I was constantly.
Oh, you're a walking electric chair.
Yeah, I went to turn off the light in my daughter's room, and I saw the spark hit my finger.
Emperor Palpatine for a second.
I was, and I had to say some words under my breath. Like it was a big shock. So,
all right, well, hit the like button to shock Blackhawks, and because they deserve it. We'll be back in a moment on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast. And when I get home, I'm going to that top cabinet and grabbing our little secret basket that my daughter doesn't know about.
She does now.
Pulling out my Good News Island Vibes vape from Sunnyside because
it's a good decision.
I need it badly in this moment. And if it wasn't snowy and I wasn't driving, probably do it before the show, but nope. I'm going to be responsible and wait till I get home. If you want to know what Sunnyside is, friends, it is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping. So if you're new to the cannabis world, if you're a veteran, whether you grow your own, whatever you're into, they've got all the accoutrements you need there. You could buy some glassware. You could buy all the stuff you need to power your stuff, and you could find some of the best flower vapes. I mentioned already the Good News Island Vibes. The Good News is my favorite brand. I take their counting sheep to help me sleep before almost every time I go to bed, unless I have to be up really early in the morning. It's good stuff, and they'll help you at Sunnyside find your way and get you exactly the experience you're looking for, because I think a lot of people who are maybe new to cannabis since it's been legalized think like, well, I don't want to be high. I just want to relax. Yeah. They've got stuff that'll do that. Just take that edge off just a little bit. It really makes getting through some stressful times really easy. So visit sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Enter promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary. Bright buys every day, only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders.
And hey, even though it's the middle of winter, we still can have sunny days, and after a fresh snow like we're getting tonight, if it's a sunny day tomorrow, it is going to be super bright out there. So when you're driving or walking your dog or just walking to the store through the snow, having a nice little stroll in the snow, it's going to be pretty bright, so you're going to need some shady rays. Get ready for the season ahead. You can get them ahead of spring and summertime, too. With quality shades built to last, our friends at Shade Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Also snow goggles, too.
Yep.
Shade Rays is an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Their shades have durable frames and crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all outdoor activities. And they probably have a style in your favorite team's colors, like red and black for the Blackhawks and Bulls, and also black and white for the White Sox. and red and blue for the Cubs, and orange
Do they
and blue
have
for the
sky
Bears.
blue and gold for the Sky?
I bet they do. Why not?
Nice.
And red and blue also for the Chicago Fire. All those teams also covered by us. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. You can head to shadyrays.com and use the code CHGO, and you're going to get 35% off of polarized sunglasses. So try for yourself. The shades rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
That's a lot of people.
A lot of people, a lot of stars.
More super chats, Sarah. Did we get to all of them?
We got some more.
KRCHI Sports says Seth Jones just got hit with a lightning bolt. Hey,
Lightning bolt.
Whoever you want to
Lightning
shock,
bolt.
we're here for it. It's
Lightning
fine.
bolt.
Just to go back to my point, though, like, and you were making it like, hey, now we're just waiting to see more young guys.
Yeah.
Make it tomorrow. I don't care. I don't want. Like, I'm tired of it, and I'm trying to think like what you're. We've seen Lucas Reichel held accountable. We've seen Philip Kurashev held accountable. We've seen Wyatt Kaiser held accountable. Nolan Allen got a scratch this year. Funny,
Yeah.
there's a trend here.
Yeah,
But none of these vets, aside from Pat Maroon, who got like a maintenance game and taken out against a fast opponent, which makes sense.
Right.
That was not a punishment. There's been no consequence for these veterans. None.
Yeah, I mean, as much as we hear that, there's no influence from Kyle Davidson to the lineup, I'm in my own mind, I hear that and I also think wink, because with the amount that TJ Brody has played this year with almost no repercussions, I think he got scratched once maybe. The veteran forwards group not really having the accountability that the young guys have been held to, it makes me feel like there's some guys that are playing to have as much, as much stat accumulation or, get in front of as many pro scout eyes as possible before we reach March 7th trade deadline. And that's why to me, that's got to be the reason that some of these guys have just been able to keep playing, and we haven't gone to more young guys getting in, or even just different looks. Like, I know he's not a young guy. I know he probably doesn't have a future with this organization, but Cole Gutman is leading the Ice Hogs in all stat categories. He's been a really good player for them down there. Give him a reward. Like, I'm not saying Cole Gutman's going to come and fix anything, but give him a reward.
Hurt anything.
Have a new look.
Send Kurashev down and call him up.
Yeah, I'm not going to be mad about that.
I'm sorry, man. Like, I don't. We talked about it in the pregame that if Philip Kurashev can't have a good game today after being scratched for 4 games and Nazar, Doc, Reichel, list them, leapfrogging him on the organizational depth chart. If he can't come out in this game and have a good response, I know everything I need to know about Philip Kurashev. And 54 points last year, be damned. He is showing you who he is. Believe him.
Yeah.
Believe him. And look, I had all the hope in the world that he would have another good season. I felt like he's a guy you could sort of say, okay, check. Philip Kurashev, a guy that's a meaningful part of the future. Thank God the Hawks didn't go sign him long-term after that. And they probably were a little more aware of his reality than we were. I don't need to see any more. I'm sorry. And I know the whole team was bad today. But if that's your response, look, his decision to stop playing hockey while Eric Gustafsson was walking in on his goaltender, that tells me all I need to know. I don't care how bad the game was going. I don't care where you were on a shift. I don't care anything about that. That shows me that you in that moment didn't care. You were a damn spectator on that play, so go spectate in Rockford.
The last thing you should be doing when you're in the lineup for the first time in like 2 weeks, and I'm sure the messaging to you was effort, compete level, all that stuff. The last thing you should be doing is puck watching on a play where you got beat. Like, I know it's not quite the NHL, but when I get beat in a beer league game, the last thing I do is just be like, Jeez, wow. He really got past me.
Oh, there he goes.
No, you bust your ass to get back because you know you just got skated around. So you want to try and get back and make it up. Try and get back in a different position. And that's in that scenario. Like I know he's beat, but you just gotta keep bearing down and get yourself back into a position. And that is especially that play happening on a goal. Like if that play happens and Gustafsson gets to the net, Mrazek makes a stop, puck goes back the other way, whatever. You're just like, wow, he got beat. But you got beat and you get the goal, and it's just like the tape is right there. No matter what you look at from the rest of his other 11 minutes of ice time tonight, that's the play if I'm Anders Sorensen. So just like, dude, what are we doing?
Right. That's it. Look. A couple good comments I want to get to. The Majestic American Woodcock. Did I say it right? It's not on my screen. Just scroll up a little bit, Sarah. A little more. There it is. Yes, he said, I think Hall's response to getting scratched caused an overcorrection and set the tone for vets getting scratched. That's not a bad thought. I think what Taylor Hall's issue, though, if I'm recalling it correctly, and it was a while ago, was him saying basically like, I was healthy scratched with no warning that I was doing anything wrong. There was no like, hey, we need to see more from you. Can you do this, or this? He just was playing, and then he wasn't.
There wasn't messaging coming from Luke Richardson or the rest of the coaching staff that like that was on the horizon for him.
Right. So maybe, but I see what you're saying.
But this is a new head coach now.
Also, 2 great comments from Dead Hawk. And he said, basically, if you waive Kurashev, it sends a message. If you don't waive Kurashev, it sends a message. And that's accurate. Because what you're doing is you're telling people that's okay. And Dead Hawk continues, what you permit, you promote. That's it. Mm-hmm. And I don't like scratching him is not to me enough. That to me, Kurashev is a very easy way to send a message tonight. And he is waived.
It is.
And that's it. Like that, you know what I mean? Like I don't want to, you have to do something at this point. You literally can't trade everybody tomorrow. That can't happen.
No.
Realistically, that's not something Kyle Davidson has in his bag right now. I think he should start exploring trades as soon as possible.
He should already be doing it.
I'm sure he is.
Yeah.
Because Kyle is always a little more ahead of things than we feel like he is.
Yeah.
He operates very close to the vest. No one knew Luke Richardson was going to get fired when he did.
I mean, you could read the room, but also, there was no indication.
We were all pretty much of the mind that he'll finish off the season.
Right.
Even though he kind of been calling for a change.
Right.
The fact that it happened like that got my attention. And you know he's not happy. But look, every time there's a game like this, it puts a little more of a microscope on Kyle Davidson too. Because, you can talk about your veterans underachieving. You could talk about signings not working out. But he's the guy that brought them in. And the reason he chose these guys that he chose was because he felt that they were going to be the kind of guys that insulate the team against performances like this. You thought you had it in Foligno. You thought you had it in Dickinson. You go bring in 3-time Stanley Cup champion Pat Maroon, who's been an important part of really good teams. I like what Maroon has done overall. I like what he's done with Lucas Reichel specifically and taking him under his wing and getting him to be a little more of a better all-around player. Craig Smith's done what you've done, but again, it's not good enough. It's not good enough. It's not what you thought it was going to be. And while you're lucky that most of these guys are on one-year deals, aside from TJ Brody, what are you going to do next year? Is it going to be more of the same? Are we going to find more bottom 6 forwards to bring in and solidify the leadership and blah, 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 blah? I don't care. I don't want to hear about that. Like, it's time to take the next step. And whether that's trading for a superstar or signing a superstar and bringing in players that are going to be here long-term and that are going to actually improve this team, the time is this summer. No more of this bridging. No more of this 1-year stuff. We'll flip you at the deadline to a contender if you pretty please come here. No, it's not working. I was on board with the plan this year. I think we all were. Yeah. On paper, it made sense. Yeah. Logistically, logically, it made sense. But it didn't work. I'm done trying it. Now is the time. You either go full young next year or you try to trade for Elias Pettersson now, or you try to sign Mikko Rantanen, who probably won't become a free agent, or Mitch Marner, who may not become a free agent or may not, or whatever it might be, might not choose to come here. But now is the time to address these things. And Lebowski 5 says Bertuzzi's on a 4-year deal, right? Yeah, but I have no problem with the way Bertuzzi's played.
No, he leads your team in goals.
He's your leading goal scorer
at this moment.
He is one guy who balls out most nights in terms of effort.
Yeah.
Like, no problem with him. Tavo, after the big slump, has been better.
He's been streaky this year, but at least
but the points have been coming more lately.
Maybe this can be this 2-goal performance can give him a good streak right now, which would be nice for this team.
He has 4 points in his last 6 games, Tavo, including his 2 tonight.
It's good.
So he is putting up points in a more consistent manner.
Yeah, and you got Connor Bedard tonight with the beautiful pass. I feel like I wish this game could have been a little bit better so we could give that a little bit more oxygen.
There's some good stuff to talk about.
Just a beautiful pass from Bedard to Donato for the 1-1 goal. So he continues, Bedard, to have good performances, good plays under Anders Sorensen. I believe that's now 19 points in 16 games under Anders Sorensen. He extends his current point streak to a new career high of 9 games. This tied for the second longest point streak by a teenager in Blackhawks history. His next point will be his 100th. So he was, another good moment for him, which is good to see. Again, he is the leader of that group of like young individual performances that matter moving forward for the rest of the season. And to your point about like, what do you do moving into next year? It's not to accelerate the rebuild and just say like we're done with the being in a rebuild. Like, yeah, if you go and get Mikko Rantanen, that's a big signal that like the rebuild process is now like definitely turning a corner for sure. Same thing with if you go out and get Marner or you trade for a big name. Like that's one of those things. But with the smaller likelihood that something like that happens, I'm 100% on board of like, okay, we are in this rebuild. We are now in year 3 or 4, depending on who you talk to about the rebuild. Let's see a lineup, a consistent lineup night in and night out next year that includes Bedard and Nazar and Doc and Slaggert and Korchinski and Vlasic and Allen. Like, let's see it. Yeah. Let's see all these young 20-year-old guys.
Yeah, and you still got Tavo and Bertuzzi.
You still have Tavo,
Bertuzzi.
Yeah, Tavo, Dickinson. Jones is here.
Foligno will be here. Trainer captain.
Yeah, like let's go.
Why not?
Let's start investing in these young guys being the culture. The culture is not going to be 1-year throwaway veterans. It's not. The culture is the young guys.
Right.
So let's get them here. Let's let them start building that themselves.
And I feel like the culture can't truly begin until those guys are gone.
Look at this. Look at the San Jose Sharks, a team that is barely ahead of the Blackhawks in the standings, and look at the difference in the way that team is viewed.
Yep.
Like the Blackhawks are a miserable bunch of people in the eyes of the NHL, and the Sharks are just like, oh, our sweet boys of the league, because it's the young guys that they're investing in, and Macklin Celebrini and Will Smith and William Eklund and Fabian Zetterlund. Like those are the guys that are like starting to set that culture in San Jose, and it just has a different feel.
They have 7 players over 30. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of those are 32 or younger. The only guys over 32 are Jan Ruda, who's 34,
former Blackhawk,
and Mark-Edward Vlasic, cousin of Alex, who is 37.
He's not playing, is he? I thought he was hurt.
He's on I think he just got back.
Okay.
But he had not been. But here you go.
Yeah, right.
Celebrini, 18. Smith, 19. Groff, 22. Eklund, 22. Askarov, 22. Thrun, 23. I can't do it. Hamadullin, 23.
Oh, yeah.
Delandria, 24. Zetterlund, 25. Liljegren, 25. Kovalenko, 25. Kostin, 25.
Yeah.
Like
it's a young group.
Give me that.
Yeah. I'm all for being in a lottery spot next year if it comes with this team was mostly early 20s.
Yeah.
And just see,
and you live with the growing pains
where
of
you
that.
start growing at the NHL level.
Yes. Holly with a good point. If you can go up a little bit, Sarah. There it is. The San Jose Sharks seem like they're having so much fun.
And they're what, 30th in the league?
And they're 30th in the league because it's okay when you're going young like that. It's okay to get your ass handed to you every now and again. Here is your ass. Enjoy. Because that's part of the expectation. With this, because it's not working,
they're 2 points
worse.
They are 2 points ahead of the Blackhawks in the standings, and you would have no idea.
You'd have no idea. It's two totally different stories. You would feel so much. The Hawks feel so much worse because with these guys they brought in, they came with an expectation to be improved, and they're bad. They're bad, and it's not. Again,
I have a buddy who's a Sharks fan, and he trash talks the Blackhawks. Because it just feels better to be a Sharks fan.
And SIL in the chat says the Sharks are doing it the right way. The Hawks are not. Thank you, Kyle Davidson. The Sharks, what they're doing is they're just willing to have their young guys come up and learn, School of Hard Knocks, whatever you want to call it.
Sure, yeah.
And I will say the Sharks have a little more leeway in that regard because there's not nearly the spotlight on them that's on the Blackhawks. The Hawks are an original 6 team.
They're not playing in Winter Classics every other year.
Yes, there's a little more expectation that goes with Chicago. However, conversely, the Sharks are a organization that probably can't afford to have bad hockey year after year after year after year because fan interest is not as solidified in San Jose or in California, and they don't have the original 6 history to fall back on and 3 recent Stanley Cups to fall back on that the Hawks do. So you could look at it both ways. But I would like to think, and I would love to talk to Kyle Davidson, I would like to think that he sees this as a learning experience and says, okay, you know what? Maybe my mindset was right, but it didn't work, so we got to go the other way next year. And you still, with the moves you made this year, even though it didn't work, because look, what's the difference between finishing last or 5th last? Right? It's still bad.
A few points.
Regardless. But now is time. Now that Slaggart's got a year, Doc's got a year.
2 years.
Right.
A year.
Yeah, I'm saying more experience, Savoie,
yeah.
On and on and on. Fine. You haven't rushed them, air quotes. Korchinski, another one. Next year, they're all here. They're all playing.
I would sign off on it.
And you've got the insulation of the guys we mentioned, Bertuzzi, Tavo, Foligno, Dickinson, Jones, Brody's going to be here.
Murphy is under contract.
Murphy's under contract, will probably be here. So that's 7 veteran players.
Yeah.
How many players did I say were over 30 on the Sharks? 1, 2,
7.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
And one of them may or may not be healthy to play this year.
Right.
Yeah, so
and you're going to acquire, potentially, depending on the draft, someone who might be NHL ready right away.
Yeah, I mean, go back and listen to our show with Stephen Ellis yesterday about the top of the draft. Like it's basically a 4-horse race at the top of the 2025 class, and he felt at least 2, maybe 3 of those 4 could be plugged into the NHL next year, which is exciting.
Yeah. We got a bunch more super chats rolled in, right? Oh, there's only one more. Okay. Johnny Hawk.
$20.
$20.
Thanks,
Thank you, Johnny. Says, not trying to beat a dead horse here, but does the Jones contract hurt the team when it comes to adding youth?
No.
I'm a Jones fan, but I'm wondering your take. Love the show, by the way. Thanks for giving us such great coverage. Yeah, not at all.
He's just one guy. So like, if you're saying like, is there enough space?
I think you're talking about money wise.
I think it's fine. Yeah, money wise, the Blackhawks still have Seth Jones on their contract or on their books and have 5 and change million,
and it's going up significantly.
And it's going to go up because you're going to lose Taylor Hall's money. You're going to lose, the money from Smith and Martinez and Maroon and those guys. Like Martinez is $4 million, and Taylor Hall is what, 6 and change. That's $10 million off your books, and you're going to be replacing it with guys on entry level deals. So as far as like cap space goes, they're operating fine to have a lot of it to use while still having Jones on the books, and the salary cap is expected to continue to increase at numbers we haven't seen in recent years, so that's promising. So yeah, I don't think Seth Jones's contract is going to hinder them as much as it may have looked like it was going to a few years ago. I think they're operating fine without it. Now, obviously, you're going to sign Connor Bedard to a contract extension, probably this summer. So that'll be interesting to see what that number ends up looking like, what that deal looks like. You got Alex Vlasic on a pretty nice team-friendly deal. So yeah, those kinds of deals are going to come down the pipe too. But I think right now that they're still in a fine, flexible position.
All right, before we go, I do want to talk about one veteran that I wouldn't mind bringing back, and it's Ryan Donato. And
I thought you were going to say Patrick Kane.
Stop it. Ryan Donato with a goal, 7 shots on goal in this game, and 16-26. As we're talking about building a culture, and we're talking about veterans with a positive influence, Ryan Donato is one of them. Good guy, stand-up guy, thoughtful guy, gives everything he's got, can play up and down the lineup. I mentioned this. I did write about this for ALLCITY a couple months ago, and I went back to the quotes when the Hawks traded Brandon Hagel. And Jonathan Toews was like, well, if that guy can't stay here, I don't know who can. I think if you move on from a guy like Donato, it is sending a message to the room too, because that guy has done everything you've asked and more. And no, he's not the kind of guy who's going to score at the pace he's scored at this year. He has obviously slowed down a little bit lately in terms of shooting percentage and things like that. But that guy has value. And if you don't feel like all those young guys are ready, I will happily add Ryan Donato to that list of, those veterans that are here.
28? Well, he's not young for NHL standards, but he's not old. And yeah, he's a guy that night in and night out, I'm not questioning his effort. I'm not questioning his dedication to trying to improve this team and move it forward. And he's a guy that has done everything you've asked of him since he's been here. He's played in all different situations, top line, fourth line, penalty kill, power play one. He's been all over the board for you. And for the most part, there have been flashes of him being really good in those positions. And so I just think for a guy that has been on 5 teams in his career, playing in seven seasons, I think it's 5 teams in 7 seasons. I think, he's expressed, as if you watch some of the Blackhawks Every Shift series, I think the first episode of this year's season focuses on him and, his young family growing and stuff. And he's expressed wanting to find some roots in his hockey career and wanting to do it in Chicago. So, if you give him 2 or 3 years, maybe he
makes $2 million now.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years. At
2 years, $3 million.
3.5. If you want to, give him a little extra, that I think that would be completely fine. And that's a guy that I think you can use to help these young guys, and that's a guy that you can use in all different types of lineup situations. So he's a guy that I'm fine with bringing back, especially the effort that he's shown this year.
100%. That's another way to send a message is to reward a guy like that. And speaking of rewarding a guy like that, Ryan Donato is the 4-star of the game.
Yeah.
Thanks for getting your votes in. We appreciate that.
He deserves
good stuff. He did deserve it. Ryan Donato, good job. That's one of the Hawks that I will happily watch every night for the rest of the year.
Another Hawk that hasn't been disappointing this year is Tyler Bertuzzi. And he sported a new haircut.
Yes, he did.
For today's game. It was pointed out in the pregame warmups that he had cut off all his hair, and people were like, "Oh my gosh, what? Look at that!" Not really knowing the story behind it. Come to find out, this is something he does basically every year for the last few seasons.
This is the 3rd year in a row he's done
this.
And
he hasn't been in Detroit for the last few years. So when he's been with the Bruins, when he's been with the Leafs, when they've come to Detroit to play the Red Wings, he has cut his hair and he has donated it to it was Wigs for Kids, I think is what it's called.
Wigs for Kids is a charity,
so it's a organization that does wigs for kids who have cancer who are cancer patients. So surprising to see Bertuzzi with the hair shortened, but find out it's for a really good cause. So that's awesome. Again, we were kind of having that discussion about guys and their charitable efforts. Some of them do it a little bit more upfront. Some of them do it a little bit more behind the scenes. But good for Tyler Bertuzzi doing something like that. That was really cool. I know we're up against the end of the televised portion of the show, but I need to tell you about the dream I had about Tyler Bertuzzi last night.
All right, before that happens,
now that's a tease.
My daughter is texting me, I don't care about wigs for kids. Why are you not talking about Lucas Reichel?
Did he cut his hair for
No,
wigs
my
for
daughter
kids?
just is in love with Lucas Reichel. Sorry, Holly. But there you go, Addie. There's Lucas on the bottom of the screen, and we just officially talked about him. Okay, now to your dream.
So it was crazy. So I'm living in a cabin. I'm still covering the Hawks for CHGO. I'm living in a cabin, and I am there with my family. And Tyler Bertuzzi lives in the unit of the cabin above us. He's still a member of the Blackhawks, and for whatever reason, there was a game being played, and I was watching it as a member of the media, and he was watching it as a member of the Blackhawks that for some reason wasn't in the game, but it was definitely not like we were like watching it as buddies. It was just like he was like kind of like side-eyeing me, like, why are you here? And I was like, why are you here? And the game was a 9-8 win for the Blackhawks.
Sunnyside.shop, everybody. Bright buys every day.
Code
CHGO.
I tell you, I woke up in like a half panic because I was like, did I sleep through the game? Like, was it like, it was
you would
like,
have been lucky to.
It was like, was I like one of those dreams or one of those nights where like you sleep, but you don't sleep deep enough. So like if you fall asleep with like the TV on or something, your dream is like what you are overhearing from the TV. And like, I like woke up and was just like, wait, did I sleep through the game? Like what, like, it was interesting.
I had a dream that I was playing on the CHGO softball team because Jenna Rose asked me about it. At the game
back-to-back champions.
Yes. She's like, do you play? And I said, no, I am old and fat and I do not play. And the real reason is I take notes from my therapist is I am always terrified of letting people down. So my dream last night was me dropping fly ball after fly ball after fly ball in a CHGO softball game. So it will not happen. You will not be playing that.
That's fine.
Yeah. That's fine. I don't like letting people
just
down.
don't do it
even
in the
though I do it all the time. All right, Holly wants to fight my daughter, so
nice.
Fly in, Holly. I can arrange it. Yeah. She's available. She's just, I'm telling you, here's the text chain. Why don't you ever talk about Lucas Reichel, Richal? Lucas Reichel is always my 4-star. Boo. Doesn't stop you from talking about him. All jokes. Lucas Reichel probably donates. Tell him I love him. He's mine, Holly. Mine. No, not Jenna Rose, you traitor.
I told you she found out about Holly. I told you she found out about the drawer at the top of the shelf now. Now that you said it, she found it.
I guess so. Well, now she wants to fight Holly. All right, boy. It's on. That'll be way more entertaining than a Hawks game.
Yeah.
If you make her run, you win. That's it. It's over. She is my daughter after all. All right, we're going to wrap up. We're back tomorrow.
Yeah, 24 hours.
Hawks and Oilers. What could possibly go wrong? Puck drop at 6 o'clock at the UC, so if you have tickets, be on time. Go see Connor McDavid. Hit up Game Time. Go see Connor McDavid. Anytime you get a chance to see that dude play, do it. Yeah. And I'm sure Hawks tickets are getting cheaper by the day.
Maybe.
So go check it out. So game at 6, probably be post-game around 8:45, 9.
Yeah, same time as tonight.
Beautiful. Love these 6 o'clock starts.
Yeah.
All
Maybe
right,
we should
everybody.
push to get into the Eastern Conference harder.
Yeah. 6 o'clock. Ugh. Works out nice for us. All right. We'll talk to everybody tomorrow after Hawks and Oilers right here on the CHGO Blackhawks podcast.
We all silly like the mayor.